Welcome everyone. This is Excel Module 4, SAM Project 1A. So we are going to open up the file, which I already have done, and save it by adding a 2, replacing the 1. I've already done this before, so I'll just click here so I don't have to retype anything. Yes, I want to replace it, and we're good to go. You need to always check to make sure your name is in B6. So let me expand this fully and begin. So we have the project steps are Luis is the manager of 2 branch offices at the Capshore Consulting Group in Houston, Texas. He has been tracking their sales, revenue, and expenses in an Excel workbook, which includes charts to help him visualize the data, and he has asked you to help him format the charts. So we're going to go to the January to April revenue worksheet. So here we click on that. And the very first thing we need to do is it tells us that a stacked column chart shows the combined sales of revenue for the branch offices made in the first 4 months of 2021. So we're going to format the chart with the following things. We're going to change the border color of the chart title to blue accent 6. So not the chart itself, but the chart title. So different ways to do it. You can click on Format, and you can change the shape, fill, outline here, or you can right click on here and choose Format Chart Title. So I will do it here. Make sure that you choose border and not fill. So we need a solid line, and it wants us to be blue accent 6, which is in the first row, the 10th column. So let's click on the color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, blue accent 6. So that's looking good. And then we're going to apply the offset center shadow effect. So here we have to go into effects. And here is our shadow. And we need to go to presets. And we're looking for the offset center. So you just keep clicking till you get offset center. Bottom offset center, I believe is this. So we'll put it back on and we're looking good here. Let's click outside and see what we have. So that looks pretty good in here. So it doesn't tell us to change any of the colors in here, but it would look nice if we change the color of the shadow to the same. However, it just may not stand out to have the borders, so we'll just leave it as such. You know, again, a lot of these things are trial and error to see which looks nice and which does not look nice. Make the chart values easier to interpret by following these steps. Remove the primary major grid lines. So we'll click over here, and here's our grid lines. And we want to remove, let's see, remove the primary vertical. So let's choose remove the primary vertical. Now you see them, now you don't. Then let's go in and add primary horizontal. And so now we have that looking good. We're going to enter, let's see, we want to create, add primary axis titles. So here is our axis titles. And we need to get rid of, does it tell us to get rid of the primary vertical? No, it doesn't. It just says add a primary horizontal. Here is our primary horizontal, and we're going to change that to months. And we're going to change the font to Tacoma. So I'm going to right click here and go to font and change it to Tacoma or Tahoma, however you pronounce it. So what I'm going to do here, let's just make sure that we have it changed, because I did not select it. It's always good to go back, and it did not. So we're going to go and we'll reselect it and change it to Tahoma. So I'm going to click outside, and you can see that it did look like it changed. So let's go back in the font just to double check, and we're good to go. So it's always a good idea to check these things after you change it, especially if you didn't select it. When I always say, when in doubt, select. So now we have that, and we need to change the font to 14. So let's go back and remember, when in doubt, select. I'm hitting Control A to select it. Right click in font and change it to 14. Looking good. Go to the categories expenses worksheet, which is right here. And this is kind of a hard thing to look at. So you can see it's kind of cluttered a little, but that's okay. We're going to make some changes on it in here. So this is a 2D pie chart in here, and we have a total budget of January to April. So we're going to apply style number 5. So let's click in here, which were there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's just make sure this is 5, which it is, to match the appearance of the other charts. We're going to move the chart legend to the right. This is the chart legend here. So let's just click over here and we'll go to legend, hit the arrow, and change it to right. That is number 5. Number 6 is Luis can see the employee salaries are the largest expense at 32%. So he wants to explode that by 7%. So remember, you need to click twice just to select these salaries. So we're going to go over here to the series options and we're going to make the explosion 7%. Go to the profit analysis worksheet. That's easy to do. I'm going to click there. Even I can do that. And we will, let's see, the cluster column chart in this worksheet shows how the branch office expenses have changed over 4 months. We are to resize and reposition the clustered column chart so its upper left corner is within cell H2 and its lower is within S21. Well, let's go to that. So we have the clustered column over here. It wants us to put the left corner is in H2. This is H1 and here's H2. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger to give me some room to move things. When I get close like here, I usually use the arrow keys to navigate. And that takes care of the H2. The lower right needs to be an S21. Here's S. And here's 21 down here. So I'm going to move it down to 21 first. And then move it in. And up just a tad. So this is looking good. Now remember, when you use your arrow keys, you're not making it bigger or smaller. You're just moving it. So we are now going to identify the purpose of the clustered chart by entering a January to April expenses. So we'll click here. I'm going to hit Control A to select it. January to April expenses by category. Now remember, if you get marked off wrong and it says you did not put in a title when you clearly have January to April expenses by category, check to make sure that you don't have an extra space in here. In other words, if I would have put a space in here, it would tell me that I did not do the title. It's got to be exactly the way it appears in here and what tells you in the instructions. So change the chart colors to monochromatic palette 2. Here's our colors. Here is monochromatic, and this should be palette 2. Change the fill color of the data series representing April. So if we look here is April, but maybe that's kind of hard to tell. Just move your mouse over it. Here's April. And what we're going to do here is change, let's see what it wants. We're going to change the fill color. So here's our fill color. And we'll change it to Aqua 2, which is a 6th column. So let's click here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is Aqua 2, Accent 2. And we are going to apply the currency format to the number range B13 to F21. So here is B13. As soon as I find it, B13 to F21. And it wants us to do the currency. Now remember, this is not currency. This is accounting. To get to your currency, just go and click the drop down arrow there, click on currency, and see if it tells us how many decimal places to 0. So we're going to change this to 0. And if you forgot to do that, just go in here and you can change it by decreasing in here. So I'm going to make these things a little bigger. So I will just select all of these over here, and I will go to Format, and I will go to Auto Fit Contents. So that looking a little better. So the next thing is we're going to do number 12. Luis wants to create a chart showing the monthly profits for the 2 branches and to determine which months have been more favorable. So we're to create a new chart as follows. We're going to do a donut chart, which is based inside of the pie. So let's select B25 to E26. So here is B25 to E26. We do not want the total. We just want the months in here. We're going to insert a chart. So here's our chart. We're going to go to pie. And the very last one is a donut. Click on OK. And we are good here. So the title will be January to April Profit. Click outside, make sure I spelled it right. Resize and reposition the chart. So the upper left is an H22. So let's do that first. H22. And the right corner is an N35. So let's go down here. I'm going to close this to give me a little bit more space. N35. So let's see, this is N here. And okay. So we can make it a little bit bigger, but it looks like it's in here. And I'm going to move this over just a bit to the right. And we're looking good. So our completed worksheet should... Okay, here is our completed worksheet for this one here. So that looks pretty much what we have. And then we have the first one. And this is what this looks like. So that looks good. And then the next one is the pie chart. And this is what we look for, the pie chart here. So the reason why these are out is because it's too skinny to fit inside of these. And these are what's called callouts. So that is everything for this video. Let me save it. And hopefully this was very helpful for you.